You've definitely seen this little striped fish before. It's the zebrafish, and for decades, it's been a tiny hero in the world of science. But what if I told you its true superpower, the thing that makes it so incredible for research, isn't what we've always thought? It's actually hiding deep inside its DNA.
So let's start with the number that usually gets all the attention, 70%. That's a huge number, right? What it means is that roughly 70% of our own protein-coding genes, the instruction manual for building a human, have a direct counterpart in this tiny fish. This incredible similarity is exactly why scientists use them to study just about everything.
So the logic seems pretty straightforward, doesn't it? We study them because genetically, they're basically us, just with fins. But what if that's not the whole story? What if the real magic, the biggest secret they hold, isn't in how they're like us, but in one key way that they are completely fundamentally different?
Okay, so before we totally blow the lid off this thing, let's just do a quick refresher. Let's talk about why this little fish is already a total rock star in the lab.
I mean, you've got that incredible genetic overlap we just talked about. Then you've got amazing gene editing tools like CRISPR, which lets scientists just go in and tinker with their DNA to see what happens. This has made them the perfect model for figuring out how we develop, how diseases work, and even how to find new medicines. Okay, so that's the standard story. But the real story, the one that unlocks their true superpower, well, that story starts a long, long time ago. We're talking hundreds of millions of years back. Check this out. Way, way back, maybe 500 or 600 million years ago, pretty much all early vertebrates, yep, that includes our distant ancestors, went through 2 rounds where their entire genome just duplicated. But then the path splits. About 350 million years ago, the ancestors of fish like our zebrafish here went through a 3rd round, a whole extra copy of their entire genetic playbook. And that, right there, is the secret.
So what was the result of that extra copy-paste event? Well, today, the zebrafish has something like 5,300 genes that have a duplicate copy, a backup. The scientific term for these is paralogs, and these little guys are the heroes of our story.
Now, this is super important. These aren't just useless spare parts floating around. That 3rd duplication kicked off a massive 350 million year-long natural experiment. It basically gave evolution a sandbox to play in, to mess around with these extra genes and see what happens. So, this brings us to the core of the mystery. What actually happens when evolution gets its hands on a spare gene? Think about it. The original gene has to keep doing its job perfectly, otherwise things go wrong. But the backup copy, it's suddenly free. It doesn't have that same pressure. So, what does it do with all that freedom?
Well, it turns out there are pretty much 3 main paths it can take. The most common one is called non-functionalization, and it's kind of what it sounds like. The spare copy just collects so many mutations that it eventually breaks and becomes useless. It becomes what scientists call a pseudogene, basically a genetic fossil just hanging out in the DNA.
The second option is way cooler and much rarer. It's called neofunctionalization. Neo just means new. This is when the spare copy evolves to do something completely different, a brand new job. It's like one sibling keeps the family business running while the other uses their inheritance to start a totally new, innovative company. And we see this in the real world. A fantastic example is a gene called LNNB. In zebrafish, this duplicated gene got a brand new, absolutely essential job, helping build a very specific part of the heart, a job the original gene never had. But it's the 3rd option, subfunctionalization. That's the real game changer for scientists. This is where the 2 copies divide and conquer. They literally split the original gene's jobs between them. So each copy handles a subset of the original tasks. And this is where the magic happens for us. This is such a perfect example. Take the PAX6 gene. In you and me, the single human PAX6 gene is a serious multitasker. It's vital for developing both our brain and our pancreas. But in the zebrafish, that job is neatly split. The PAX6A copy focuses on the brain, and the PAX6B copy handles the pancreas. See? They've divided up the work. All right, so a fish split up its genetic workload millions of years ago. Cool story, but why should we care? Well, this is exactly how we can start to unpack some of our most complex human diseases. Here it is. This is the big payoff. By looking at one of those split jobs in the zebrafish, we can isolate and understand just one piece of what a super busy, multitasking human gene does. It's like the fish has taken a complex machine and laid out all the individual parts for us to study one by one.
Let's make this really concrete. Take Dravet syndrome. It's a severe type of epilepsy, and we know it's linked to mutations in our SCN1A gene. So what about the zebrafish? It has two copies. One of them, SCN1LAB, is pretty clearly linked to the epilepsy symptoms we can see. But here's the cool part. By also studying that other copy, SCN1LAA, scientists can uncover subtle details about the disease and find clues for therapies that would be totally hidden if they could only look at our single complicated human gene. So what you get is this amazing roadmap, really, from a fish in a tank to potential human therapies. Step 1, observe the specific, divided job. Step 2, isolate the exact part of the DNA responsible for that one job. Step 3, model how breaking just that one function contributes to human disease. And ultimately, that could lead to step 4, creating super-targeted therapies. So it all comes back to this incredible gift from evolution, a 350 million year experiment. For a long time, researchers might have seen that second gene copy as just a nuisance, a complication that made their work harder. But as the researchers behind this work say, by focusing on a single paralog, we miss out on a 350 million year natural experiment that would be difficult to reproduce in the lab. We're finally realizing that the complication is actually the key. And that just leaves you wondering, right? The zebrafish's secret superpower was there the whole time, hiding in plain sight in its own DNA. It makes you ask, what other incredible secrets are hiding in the genomes of all the other creatures around us, just waiting for us to ask the right question?